The Baltimore Ravens had it all. The talent, the grit, the hunger. And yet when it mattered most, they fell short. Again. Another season. Another devastating postseason exit. This time, it was a gut-wrenching 27-25 loss to the Buffalo Bills in the divisional round. A game they could have won. A game they should have won. And now, as the dust settles, one question looms over Baltimore. Where do we go from here? John Harbaugh, the longest-serving head coach in Ravens history, stood before his players after the loss, demanding they hold their heads high. "You accomplished great things," he said. But in the silence of that locker room, one undeniable truth hung in the air. Great isn't good enough anymore. The Harbaugh legacy, great but not great enough? For 17 seasons, John Harbaugh has been the heartbeat of the Ravens. A coach who built a culture of resilience, toughness, and accountability. But let's be brutally honest, it's been 12 years since the Ravens hoisted the Lombardi Trophy. Since their Super Bowl victory in 2012, Harbaugh's teams have made the playoffs 8 times. And in those 8 appearances, only once have they advanced past the divisional round. Once. Think about that. For all the praise for the regular season dominance, when the lights are the brightest, Baltimore stumbles. And now, after yet another playoff failure, how much more patience does this city have left? The playoff curse. Why can't they finish? It's not that the Ravens aren't built to win. They are. They've proven it time and time again in the regular season. They've beaten the best. They've crushed division rivals. And yet come January, something happens. Something always happens. 2020, Lamar Jackson finally gets his first playoff win, only to get knocked out against the Bills. 2021, a season decimated by injuries, but still a collapse from 8-3 to missing the playoffs. 2022, no Lamar, no chance. A first-round exit to Cincinnati. 2023, the breakthrough year? No, an AFC Championship appearance, but still no Super Bowl. 2024, the most balanced Ravens team in years. And yet another divisional round disaster. Is it bad luck, poor coaching, a mental block? Maybe it's all of the above. But one thing is clear, this franchise isn't built to just make the playoffs. They're built to win it all. And they keep coming up short. So the question is, why should Ravens fans still believe? Is Harbaugh still the right man for the job? John Harbaugh is a damn good coach. Let's not get it twisted. He's won 184 games. His .6117 win percentage is elite. He's led the Ravens to 6 AFC North titles, 2 number 1 seeds, and 4 AFC Championship games. But here's the harsh reality. He's been outcoached in the playoffs too many times. Andy Reid has evolved. Sean McVay has evolved. Kyle Shanahan is constantly innovating. Harbaugh, he's still grinding, still motivating, still coaching his heart out. But is it enough? Baltimore doesn't need a good coach. They need a championship coach. And right now, Harbaugh hasn't proven he can deliver another ring. His contract runs through 2025. That means this could be his final chance to prove he's still the guy. But let's be real. If the Ravens don't win it all next season, changes are coming. Lamar Jackson. The window is closing. If Harbaugh is the heart of this team, Lamar Jackson is the soul. And here's the reality that no one wants to admit. His prime years are slipping away. Lamar is 38 years old next season. He's been the MVP. He's been the most electrifying player in the NFL. But what he hasn't been a Super Bowl champion. Baltimore cannot afford to waste him. Quarterbacks like him don't come around often. His legs won't always be as explosive. His arm won't always be this sharp. The Ravens need to build around him right now. Not in 2026, not in 2027, now. Because if they don't, he might not be here much longer. What needs to change? So what's next? If the Ravens want to finally break through, they need to address 3 major issues. 1, offensive identity. They have weapons, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, a solid running game. But when the playoffs arrive, this offense gets predictable. Greg Roman was the scapegoat before. Todd Monken's offense has shown promise. But is it enough? 2 defensive adjustments. The Ravens' defense was elite in the regular season. But in the playoffs? They didn't make the big plays when it mattered most. Harbaugh needs to find a way to keep this unit dominant when it counts. 3, mental toughness. The best teams don't just win in December, they win in January and February. Baltimore needs a killer instinct because right now they don't have it. Final verdict, the clock is ticking. John Harbaugh has built a legendary career in Baltimore, But legends aren't remembered for regular season wins. They're remembered for championships. And if Harbaugh can't deliver one in 2025, it might be time for Baltimore to look in a new direction. The Ravens have the talent. They have the quarterback. They have the infrastructure. Now they need to prove they can actually finish the job. No more excuses. No more almost. Baltimore deserves another Super Bowl. And if John Harbaugh can't bring one home, it's time for someone who can. What do you think, Ravens fans?